everybody. It's time to LOL. Listen out loud, that is. It's time for Anime Jam Session with DJ Ranma S., Mako-chan, and Ari Rockefeller.
Hey everybody, welcome to Anime Jam Session, episode number 672. We are that podcast that talks about anime, games, conventions, the fandom, geek stuff, and everything in between. I'm DJ Ranma S.
I am Mako-chan.
And I'm Barry Mellon.
And all in her 16-bit glory, and there is Mako in her Lego glory. As for my camera, I don't know what happened, and I'll explain something about that during my weekend day, because normally it's not this, how you say, paint. And oh man, we're kicking the show off with five subs from an anonymous gifter, and hype chests and all this good stuff. Wow. We're starting the podcast off on the good foot. Anywho, enough about that. How is everybody doing tonight?
Doing all right.
That's good.
I am sleepy.
Yeah, but Mako-chan, when aren't you sleepy? See?
Yeah.
Anywho, now that we got that out the way, and I hope I don't have to replace my webcam because it's the washed out colors or something like that. I'll have to play around with it later. But again, I'll get into that during my weekend days. It's quite cool, quite interesting. So anywho, we are live tonight, week of April 8th, 2025, right here on Twitch TV. We're here live Tuesdays from 9 to 10:30 p.m. Eastern. You can always find us at Twitch TV/Anime Jam Session. We're also proud to be part of the Voice of Geeks Network at vognetwork.com. And they're also on Twitch as well. You can find them at Twitch TV/VogNetwork. They kick things off Sunday nights at 8 p.m. with the Bobby Blackwolf Show, followed by Orange Dodge Radio at 9. And we're bringing up the rear Tuesdays at 9 on as affiliated network. And come hang out in our Discord, vognetwork.com/Discord. Every show that's part of Voice of Geeks Network has their own channel, so come through and hang out and have a good time. And besides, we're one of the few Discords where the hot tub is running all year round. So now that we got that out the way, I'm going to kick it around to Mako-chan and ask her, how was your week? How was your day?
Not horrible. Lots of last minute stuff getting ready for the new system at work to go live, which did yesterday, and it was a shit show.
Welcome to the shit show.
It was so bad. Basically nobody had the permissions to use things that they actually needed to use. Even today, some of those permissions had been automatically set back. So they were spent, they were spent trying to reopen everything again. I haven't even gotten in there yet because there's nothing in the system for me to do yet. So it's been fun.
Jesus.
Yeah, they probably really should have taken at least another week to get everything situated. Like actually do a real test run of the system before, like even just putting appointments in the new system,
right,
while other things were being done in the old system, just to make sure that even that much was working. It also would have helped what happened when they put everything over. So everything that happened on Friday is gone.
What?
Yeah. Friday was still in the old system, and everything needed to be done was transferred on Sunday into the new system. Nothing that was done on Friday transferred into the new system. So they've had to go through everything that was done on Friday in the old system and manually transfer it over to the new system.
That's wild.
Yeah, They have no idea what happened because it's just the stuff from on Friday. It was, the finalization of everything wasn't happening until Sunday, but for some reason, nothing that was input on Friday transferred over. So it's been, yeah, it's been interesting. But I got away for the weekend, and that was really, really nice because I really, really needed it.
Understandable and rightfully so.
Yeah. So, with everything going on, I'm glad that this is finally taking place. And maybe after the whole change, everything will kind of calm down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll make things at least a little bit less stressful at work.
Seems
Yeah,
legit. Well, could be worse. Just saying, could be worse. So, Barry, how was your week? How was your day? How was your month? Oh, don't tell me we lost them.
No,
Okay.
not that I know of. Am I good?
Yeah, I was asking how was your week? How was your day? And how was your month?
It's been going
Okay.
okay. It's been pretty good. I can't complain too much. I've just been doing a lot more with, let's see, doing just kind of projects.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm finishing up a leather project that I was working on, and I picked up a new one that I want to complete. It is a big coffin-shaped backpack that looks really fun to accomplish. And I have recently been getting more into Blender and Unity. I think I talked about that last time I was on,
Yeah.
though. I got myself a book on it.
That's good.
And then I also picked up a Gunpla that I will be doing in the next week or two to celebrate some stuff for my channel. Generally, it's just been super chill. The weather has not been super fun. I love waking up with migraines. Chat, if you are also a chronic barometric pressure migraine sufferer, in chat. But yeah, so that was fun. But yeah, generally it's been pretty good. I can't complain. Can't complain.
No, that's good. Glad to hear that. All right.
Yeah.
So my weekend day's been pretty good. I ended up having to take Friday off at the very last, not really at the last minute, but near the last minute. And I don't like to do stuff like that. This follows up with what Mako-chan was saying about going away for the weekend. And, we were planning to go meet up with a friend down in the Baltimore area. But with the timing of us setting it up in the group chat, either I wasn't sure or I forgot it was it was determined that we were going to go and all of that. So I took that Friday off. Now, why did I have to take that Friday off? For those of you who are been following what of a social life that I have been gone nearly back-to-back weekends. And you know what usually happens when you're gone back-to-back weekends? Your laundry piles up. Now, I don't have an on-site washer and dryer, so I have to go to the laundromat. Now, I don't like going at night unless I absolutely have to. And usually by the time I get home, I have to come in, quick change, grab stuff, and go. Usually the most amount of sense would be to grab what I need, do a quick load, and handle the rest later, which is something I should have done, but it is what it is. I did have my unmentionables taken to the laundromat and got that taken care of out of the way. I did that. But so that Friday, I took off, packed everything, did like the massive load of laundry that needed to be done, and then I realized I have to go back to the laundromat this weekend because I gotta wash the cosplays and stuff like that, and hang and dry them and all that good stuff, and the bedding, all of that. So that's what I ended up doing. So in my quote-unquote mad dash to getting things together, because I woke up late, getting everything together. So when I was packing everything together, my electric razor of 3 years broke. How did it break? Simple. on my bed with the luggage open, I put the electric razor there. It was kind of like on a hill, like it was like on a mound in my bag. And the way it was positioned, it just rolled and fell. And the latch broke off. There's a latch that pops up so you can clean it out. That broke off. So I end up ordering one off Best Buy. And I'm like, meeting Mako-chan, I'm like, I'm going to have to leave a half hour earlier so I can go hit up Best Buy, then hop on a train and make my way down. And I was able to do that, including the fact of the security guy wanting to talk ReZero with me because I have Rem on my book bag. I'm like, it's really nice you want to talk, but I gotta go. So I make my way out there, and because of the idiot on NJ Transit, I missed my stop, but thankfully it was only 5 minutes away. So we ended up closing out my old storage luggage, my old storage place, thanks to Mako. I really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
So now all of my stuff is about 10 minutes from her house, so now I have to be extra nice to her. Because she has one of the keys.
Yes, I do.
But I have this odd feeling I'll be going in there eventually to find one of my game controllers I packed away. I didn't realize I had brought with me, but it is what it is. So there is that. And then that Saturday morning, we all went down, hung out with Baltimore Lauren and her partner, and we just had a really good time hanging out. And that was fun stuff.
Yes, yes.
And by the way, those wings were really good. I have to go into our other group chat and say those wings were really good. I'm sorry you did not get any.
Yeah.
No, really, I'm not mocking you this time. I'm really sorry you didn't get any.
My food was actually pretty good too, so I can't say that I'm unhappy with what I had.
Yeah, I mean, I got gumbo, and then I got a side order of wings, and these things were huge. It's like, Buffalo Wild Wings, B-Dubs has like these smaller wings, and then if you go to Wingstop has like these big ass wings. That's what I was talking about. These things were deep fried and Old Bay seasoned. I was just like, wow. Basically, I got slapped in the face with all that Old Bay. And that's basically is it. Now, if you notice, the color is off slightly or something like that due to whatever. Now, here's the thing. Two of my friends are amazing, talented cosplayers, competed WCS, the whole 9 yards. They're cosplaying panty and stocking for an upcoming convention, and they need video of me as Garter Belt. So what I did earlier this week, which is probably what it happened, I moved the webcam towards the front, and I readjusted things with the green screen, did my lines, recorded it, and sent it off. They needed video footage. And I think somewhere in there when I was adjusting the camera, it just threw the colors slightly off. And because I am currently using the camera, I can't go in and edit like the color settings or anything like that. So it is what it is. And if you're wondering, it's a Creative Live Cam, which does 1440p, because I honestly refuse to use Logitech unless it's given to me. But that's it for that. And now that we got that out the way, let's get into some housekeeping notes here. Go ahead and refresh this. Wonderful. Want to let you know that video episodes of our podcast, Anime Jam Session, are available on our YouTube page, also known as podcast or podcast VODs. You can find them Thursdays at 12 noon, so you can check them out then. Our podcast VODs go back at least a good couple of years. I think they might go back even further since that's like our official podcasting track or whatever, or something like that. You know how Google changes stuff around, so it is what it is. So swing by, check it out. We really appreciate the love and support on that. As Bonzable6 says, one of the banes of photography is having to readjust your gear. Well, to be fair, I mentally work in 3 or 4 different modes, and I'm able to click to switch at any given time. So as for the webcam, not so much. And don't forget, our next outing is actually at the end of the month. It's a few of us. We're heading out to the Sailor Moon Super Live And from what I can tell, there are so many people on the Book of Face and other social medias that are totally enjoying this. They're loving it. People are cosplaying, cosplay bounding. So we are going to the New York City show. So if we see you there, say hi, you know. By the way, Barry, are you going?
To which show again?
The Sailor Moon Super Live.
No, I can't. A lot of those smaller shows I just can't. My body just does not like traveling. So if it's not a big show where I'm going to be seeing a bunch of people, I'm probably not going to be going. Like I do my best to make at least one show a year, and most of the time that's just Otakon. Like now at this point, I'm going to try and do Zenkai next year, but it'll depend.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah.
Okay, now we got that out the way. Now I want to get into our Geek Roundtable. This is the part of the show where we talk more about the geekier aspects of our lives and what we have been up to. So, Mako is showing off some type of classical painting done in Lego. You mind telling the folks?
Yeah. So, Lego put out a bunch of art-inspired pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And this particular one is Van Gogh, and I freaking love Van Gogh. This is my favorite painting ever. And so when I saw this, I have had it in my shopping cart for quite a while now. But I had gathered enough of my pennies together to be able to purchase it. And so I finally finished it. I actually purchased this when I was starting to deal with being sick and then my teeth and just not really wanting to do anything for those couple of weekends. So that's when I got this and started on. And it is a lot larger than most of the pieces that I have previously done. So I did take a couple of breaks in between, and I really like it. I'm very happy with it.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, so now I can start putting my pennies together for another Lego set.
Count them shekels.
Yeah, pretty much.
Barry, what have you been up to for Geek Roundtable? I know you mentioned earlier you're working on a couple of projects. Can you go into a little bit of detail?
Yeah, as far as the projects go, honestly, the project is almost done, but it was basically a client piece. That was basically a big, or like, it was like not a big bag, but it was like my first real leather project where it was all hand sewn.
Yeah.
So it took me a little longer than I anticipated, but I think the client will be really, really happy. I made basically like a little belt organizer utility thing. And then I made what I've been calling the Whiskey Grandpa Satchel, because it is a bag that was specifically made to hold 2 to 4 cigars. Their specialty cutters and lighters for the cigars, and then a container like a flask for good whiskey. And it just has an attachable strap and everything, so they can carry it around with them. And so yeah, it is that project is finishing up soon. I'm just doing the finishing touches and then doing the embroidery for the satchel that it will be sent in and mailed to the client.
Okay.
And then the other project I have coming up for another client is a white mage cosplay from Final Fantasy XIV, which is the other nerdy thing that I've recently gotten into.
Oh,
yes,
boy.
Your girl is playing Final Fantasy XIV right now. I am just doing the free trial as far as I know. Albeit, depending upon if my friend Weebus somehow convinces me otherwise. But yeah, so I'm level 20 now after not even having played it last week. I think I played it we started last Tuesday. So this was like the second week that I've been fully in game.
Okay.
And so I'm level 23 now. But yeah, so that's been kind of the stuff that's been going on for me anyway.
Yeah, I remember jumping into Final Fantasy XIV a long time ago. A couple friends of mine are in a guild, and I joined briefly, and it was just to learn and stuff like that, and I had fun with it. But the downside of like MMOs with me is that if I don't have a buddy, I'll eventually stop playing. So I need somebody to roll with me to have fun with the bounce banter off of. Like for those of you who remember how me and Kuro Hikari-chan we would play PSO2 all the time. We haven't played in about a year and a half because we basically did the entire game, all of the story modes, and
Yeah.
and it's just like the dailies and the weeklies, and it just got to that point where we're just kind of And I know I have stuff I need to put in my personal house in the game, which I need to actually log in and do. And I think I just missed a free rent event, but it is what it is. So we've been playing Borderlands 2 instead to get ready for Borderlands 4, which is supposed to drop later this year. So, and I think once we're done with 2, I'm going to recommend that we find a couple of mods for Borderlands 3 because evidently after we start playing 2, I checked out Nexus mods and it's like, oh, there is a mod that changes the game entirely. Story, weapons, all of that. And
that's wild.
Yeah, and I think there's one for 3 that does that because she's gone through the game more. She's gone through all of the Borderlands games more times than I have. So I'm like, Kuro Hikari-chan is the type of person where the best way I can describe her is you could dress her up as a Lolita, but she will also have she'll also have guns in her hand. Think
Yeah, it's similar to me in like Maid Cafe uniform, but with weapons ready for destruction.
Yeah. You can picture Barry in a full maid outfit with guns and Kuro either as a Waloli or Lolita with guns. It's basically BB Hood from Darkstalkers.
Pretty much.
And what's her name from Black Lagoon? Mayrin.
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't remember her name, but I remember her.
I think it's Mayrin or Maylin.
Mayrin is from Black Butler, yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, it's Black Butler. I thought it was Black Lagoon.
Yeah, you're good. I was like, Black Lagoon, maybe he's talking about her, but...
I don't know. I just know one of the animes, there is a maid running around with glasses and has guns.
Yeah, that's Mayrin.
Mayrin,
because I've cosplayed her before.
Okay, there we go. But, I've been taking, like, after Zenkai, I've been kind of relaxing and just kind of getting stuff together. And this week I'm going to start on edits of the photos. I finally posted the selfies on the page. So, and I have like 2 more photo shoots I need to edit. And once they're done, I can close the Lightroom database and start a brand new one. So I want to have a new database for every year that I'm working. So there is that. Anime wise, I have watched another episode of Red Ranger Isekai, which is really good, especially if you like Isekais and Super Sentai. And the 100 Girlfriends That Really, Really, Really Love You, which is kind of cracked out. I watched an episode of that last night while folding clothes, so I'm caught up with that. And I keep finding myself adding more animes to my list. So right now, my goal is to finish the 100 Girlfriends since Sakamoto Days is done. Then I'm going to finish ReZero Season 3, and then I'm going to go through my list of stuff I pulled from the winter season and start on one of those. And probably by the time I finish that, I can kind of start on My Hero Academia Vigilantes and Fire Force Season 3. So I'm kind of excited about that. Yeah, Sakamoto Days is really good. All right. Now we got that all out the way, and all the derailing has been done. Let's get into tonight's stories. Oh, and I forgot to mention at the top of the show, Ari is off tonight because he is working mid shift, so he'll be back next week. So now we're gonna kick things off, and Mako-chan's gonna tell us about Ohayoucon's 2026 event, despite the legal eagling that's going on over there.
Oh God.
So Ohayocon announced plans to hold a 2026 event amid the court battle that is going on with organizers of the new convention, SekeCon. The lawsuit, which was filed in January, is currently in the discovery phase with discussions ongoing. Ohayocon organizers sought a temporary restraining order shortly after filing, which was extended to February 28th. The court also ordered both parties to refrain from further public commentary regarding the parties involved on February 19th.
Mm-hmm.
The organizers of SekkaiCon, the Sekai Guild, responded with a counterclaim on March 5th, denying the complaints in the initial suit. The Cultural Exchange Society, the owners of Ohayocon, responded on April 2nd, denying Sekai Guard's claims. While legal proceedings are moving forward, a clause in the recent discovery process allows for the possibility of a settlement between the parties up to and including the closing of up to and including the close of the trial. The court documents also indicate the parties involved will likely seek a settlement conference with the courts. The proposed timeline in the court document suggests the legal proceedings could extend into May 2026 with a jury trial should the complaint remain unresolved. Ohiocon's 2025 event ran from January to February of this year. SekkaiCon will run from April 11th through the 13th near Columbus. So yeah, this is still an ongoing thing. For those that don't know what is going on, basically, the CES filed the lawsuit against SekkaiCon on January 16th, alleging that SekkaiCon organizers, as former Ohayocon staff members, misappropriated confidential business information and trade secrets. The suit seeks compensation for damages and reimbursement of legal costs. It alleges that the former Ohayocon staff members attempted to extort control of the convention from the CES president, Melissa Ann Phelps, in a fraudulent attempt to organize the convention's team. It states that upon failure, the former staff used the misappropriated assets to interfere with the business and private lives of organization members, as well as publicly defame the members to promote SekkaiCon. The suit states that Phelps and other members have and continue to receive death threats online. In addition, the suit claims that Jared Hightower, former Ohayocon staff members and member of the Conventions of Ohio Volunteer Event Network, or Coven, a collective formed by former Ohayocon volunteers who sought to address concerns with Ohiocon's governing body, breached his fiduciary duties to CES by secretly coordinating with Coven and the senior leadership to harm it, and with Sekai Guard to compete with it. Yeah, so it's been an ongoing craziness that is going on. It is a very long story with people upset with the leadership of one convention, trying to boycott a convention, trying to overturn a convention, finally creating a convention, and that's still going, pretty much downhill because they were then, trying to saying that they were stealing the logos and modifying other things, and it's just it's a whole mess. So it has led to resignation of several of the convention's senior leadership members because of everything going on, and it's the fact that they're saying, hey, yeah, we're actually going to still do a 2026 event. Obviously they think that they're not doing too bad, I guess.
I mean, there was a dip in numbers, but it wasn't enough for them to be like, oh, we are doomed. But the one thing that has me kind of rolling is the quote unquote trade secrets. Now, let's be real. 99% of conventions are basically run the same way. The only difference is the people that are running it. Now, I can understand how some conventions will run their cosplay contests slightly different when it comes to scoring or this or that. I can see that as a trade secret of sorts. I could also see that as like an open source, like, this is how we do it, here's our guidelines, But I just find it kind of odd, trade secrets.
I mean, the only thing that I can really see as being trade secrets
Yeah.
is if, say, a portfolio of industry names and numbers and stuff like that has been handed down from, say, one head to another head to another head, and then one head decides that they are going to start their own convention and take that list of names. You know, the industry people that they need to talk to make their convention, that much better. Um, that I could see. It's
Fair.
not
Okay.
something that somebody couldn't, come up with again, but for, somebody to take that kind of information and start their own convention, that's the only thing I could think of that could potentially be, trade secrets in an environment that so many people are starting their own conventions.
I'll start my own convention with blackjack and hookers. Well played, Anime Next, for that 1 year.
I mean, a convention already tried that. Maybe not the blackjack, but definitely a lot more late night lewd stuff. Anyway.
Well, let me say this. I strongly feel that there should be more adult programming late at night at conventions. It doesn't have to be an all TNA type thing. It really doesn't. It's one thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, not. It doesn't have to be sexy
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, just
It's
if nothing else, there's something that is interesting
it's
to the
one
older crowd.
yeah, it's one thing if it's a pure adult convention, and yeah, like Shenanigans, most of the people I spoke to there was like, not so in nice words, where are the titties? Where's the porn? And I was like, no, it's not that type of convention. But even though people assumed that it was. So if they do have it next year, I am going to help them run a couple of adult panels and stuff like that, which would be great. So there is that.
Yeah, I
But
know when I was doing video rooms, which most conventions don't even have anime showing at their anime conventions anymore.
which I still think there should be at least one video room. Now, granted,
Crunchyroll on.
yeah, I look. I think that cons should have at least one video room with a playlist running all night. And to be perfectly honest, it's a great thing to have because it's not like it's a quiet room for some people, but with the hustle and bustle of a con, slipping into a video room where people are just sitting there watching stuff helps you to get away from the crowd. It's like, in a way, no different from going to a manga library of sorts.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, when I was doing video rooms and I was making the schedule for that,
Mm-hmm.
I always cut at a certain point and had everything be for 18 plus.
Mm-hmm.
And not everything was hentai. I would have one room that would have hentai, I would have one room that would have horror, and I would have one room, if I got three rooms, I would have the other room going for, rated R stuff.
Yeah.
Not necessarily sex, but, that includes stuff that has, a lot of action and violence or language.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of stuff, it doesn't have to be all sex to be 18 plus.
Right.
And that is what what I look for at conventions. So many conventions just like, oh, 18 plus, here's the tits. And really, as much as I like to read the porns,
Yep.
I like to sit there and watch horror, and there's just not enough of that kind of stuff being done at gen conventions. Even anime conventions, there are plenty of mature anime that can be
Mm-hmm.
discussed
Yep.
and have panels and all of this that are 18 plus that have nothing to do with sex.
It's true.
And I think more conventions need to look into that. So I definitely agree that there needs to be more adult content in the evenings, and you don't have to have it all be TNA.
And I agree. It's like I said, if it was more of like an adult oriented convention where, everything is just adult stuff, not necessarily sex adult, then yes, late at night. It's like I said about AAC. Late at night, and this especially on Saturdays, there is a back area where they have adult programming, and it's just like adult D&D. It's just us adults having a good time, and there's the hotel. They have a bar set up and buying drinks. There is that. That I'm good with. Again, yes, conventions will have dances and stuff like that, but not all of us want to go to some dance or something like that. We want our own like Club 21 plus thing. Where we can go have our own dance floor, have adult beverages, and just if not dance, just have a seat and just chill and talk to other people.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that. So now we got that out the way. Let's get into our next story about what Netflix is up to. And I heard about this, and they kind of got a little bit of flack for this, and by a little bit, I mean a lot. And I believe this is for Barry.
Yeah, as they should. Obviously, as they should. I think that if it's a big capitalist company, it should be open to critique from the public that it is supposed to be serving,
Mm-hmm.
basically. So Netflix is adding a full list of languages for subtitle, dub options, and TV viewing. Netflix announced on Wednesday that subscribers can now choose from its full list of available languages for any title when watching Netflix on television, a feature that is carried over from the mobile services and web browsers. Netflix's catalog has a wide variety of TV shows and movies in over 30 languages, and Netflix stated that almost a third of all viewing on the streaming service is for non English TV shows and films, including popular titles such as Squid Games, Lupin, Troll, and the Oscar winning film All Quiet on the Western Front. Netflix's catalog also includes Japanese anime and live action series and films, and Netflix exclusively streams the One Piece live action series, the new Ranma 1/2 anime, and the third anime season of Kimi no Taroke, among others. This spring, Netflix will stream several new anime series in some regions, including Shin Samurai Den Yaiba, Witch Watch, Kowloon, Generic Romance, Black Butler, Emerald Witch Arc, and The Beginning After the End, among others. Netflix raised its subscription price on many plans in the US and other markets in January. Netflix announced that its fourth quarter 2024 earnings in January stated it gained 18.9 million new subscribers in the quarter, its biggest quarterly increase. And the company stated its ad-supported plans in the quarter accounted for more than 55% of new subscribers in countries that offered the ad-supported tier. Netflix last raised its prices for subscription in the US and other countries such as the United Kingdom and France in October of 2023. I imagine that their prices are going to continue to go up
Mm-hmm.
no matter what because they have kind of a throat hold on a lot of the media industry, especially when it comes to new anime in the US.
Mm. And I made a mistake. I was referencing the whole AI dubbing subtitling thing that Amazon is working on, not Netflix. I think it was Amazon. So saw that come across my feed, and some people aren't too happy about it, which I understand, and rightfully so. All right, so now we're gonna go from that to a little bit of Super Sentai, which is one of my favorite things, and I realize I have not watched much Super Sentai in years, and I kind of need to fix that. So what it is, there is a first ever Super Sentai show, the very first one. It was marked with the 50th anniversary, and there was a surprise cast reunion on stage, which is really cool. So as you know, basically, I believe with the upcoming season now is celebrating the 50th anniversary of Super Sentai. I remember think it was 30th, where it was Gokaiger. I think they celebrated the 30th, and I think Bokanger was 20th. I don't remember off the top of my head, but one of them was good. So basically, the theater G Rosso in Tokyo hosted the Kimetsu Sentai Goranger 50th anniversary secret premium event last Saturday. And it was the exact 50th anniversary date of the very first Super Sentai show, Go Ranger. And that, believe it or not, premiere was April 5th, 1975. Now, that event, because of that one show, we've had all these amazing Super Sentai shows and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers coming out of that. And at this event, there was a reunion of all 5 cast members from the original series. Voice actor Tomokazu Seiki emceed the event for about 300 fans. While footage from the event is not available, the Ohayocon news service has posted uncut versions of the event's talk show segment, which you can find on YouTube. The video, and if you're unable to view it, you may need like a VPN to view it because it may be region locked. The video features a highlight reel of a live stage show, followed by the surprise appearance of the cast members, Naota Makoto, who played Aka Ranger, who is 76, Hiroshi Miyauchi, who played Io Ranger, who is 77, Jiro Daruma, second Ki Ranger, 73, Lisa Komaki, who played Momo Ranger, who is 74, and Yukio Ita, who played Mito Ranger, the youngest of the bunch, at 69. The event's half-hour talk show segment introduced the cast members as they gave their thoughts on the series 50 years later and recalled memories from their time filming. Komaki surprised the audience and other cast members with her original Peggy Matsumuya costume and scripts from episodes 7 and 41. That is cool. The show ended with an announcement for the nationwide All Super Sentai exhibition tour. The largest to date starts this August at the Tokyo Dome City Prism Hall. Man, I'm going to miss that. Kimetsu Sentai Goranger premiered on April 5th, 1975. The series ran for 84 episodes as the longest-running Super Sentai series thus far. Following Goranger was 1977 Jakku Dengekitai, which is JAKQ, which stands for Jack, Ace, King, Queen, because they have the symbols on their helmets from that show. And the formal birth of the Super Sentai franchise in 1979 with Battle Fever J. Goranger and Jakku have since been retroactively folded into the franchise. The 16th entry, Kuru Sentai Zyuranger, was loosely adapted into the very first Mighty Morphin Power Ranger series in the US. The Super Sentai franchise is currently celebrating its golden anniversary with the new series, #1 Sentai Gozyuger, which I do need to watch. Hell, I need to watch I think it's Pat Ranger versus Lupin Ranger. I still need to finish watching that. And I think a certain somebody's long overdue with their rewatch of Maji Ranger.
Yeah, probably.
All right, Mako, what's going on with Pop Team Epic?
Yeah, so this was announced on April 1st. However, in true Pop Team Epic idiocy,
here we go.
The whole thing is actually correct and actually happening. So for April Fools, Pop Team Epic teased what everybody thought was a non-existent crossover with mecha anime Code Geass. What's also not surprising is that the joke actually is real. Yeah, so as of April 2nd, Pop Team Geass goods will be available as part of an online lottery. To celebrate the campaign, a new video launched bringing the two worlds together. The voice actors reprised their roles as Lelouch and Suzaku, while also appearing as Pipimi and Popuko, respectively. So the lottery kicks off and offers a variety of exclusive goods. Each entry is 880 yen. There are pillows, acrylic stands of the pop team in the art style of Code Geass and Code Geass in the art style of of the pop team epics. There are keychains and pins and all that
Mm-hmm.
fun kind of things that Japan likes to place a character on and then try and give away in these um, events. So yeah, it is going to be running until May 12th. So if somebody who happens to be there can check in the secondhand stores for potential things, that might be a fun idea.
The
Hint,
fact
hint,
that it's Pop Team Epic, though. Oh, God.
hint, hint, hint.
You did not tell me you're a Pop Team Epic fan.
Yeah,
Nor have you told me you're a Code Geass fan.
no, but I would not mind something of the girls in that art style.
Okay. I will see what
I'm
I,
in the
I
costumes from the anime.
I'll see what I can do. I'm afraid. I have this odd feeling every time I'm in Tokyo, I'm going to be checking Animate, Book Off, or K Books for stuff.
You would be doing that anyway.
Well, that is true, but I'm just putting in extra time because of this. I'm sitting here looking at all the stuff that Otaku Mode is putting out, and it's like I really want to put my finger on. I really want to hit the buy button, but I can't because I'm going to Japan in 6 weeks, and it's like I think these are international dates. There's a possibility it'll be available sooner. Like case in point, back in 2023 when I went to Japan, I found the Yohane figure from Yohei the Parhelion for 1,700 yen. So I bought it. Come to realize that I had pre-ordered it and it was coming out in February. So I'm going to assume, well, from my understanding, a lot of these sites where you order Japanese figures from, they actually send people out buying them or going through raffles or whatever and to stock them up if they can't get enough. And then on a particular date, they, for international release, they go out or something like that. I don't know if it's still like that, but still. So now I'm looking at all this stuff that's coming out later this year, and I'm like, I'm just going to put everything in a spreadsheet as a reminder of where to find what I'm looking for. And I know what store has it, so I know what to buy. And I may have to do what Rose did, put it all in a box and ship it back home, depending on how much stuff that I buy.
Hey, they are there to help you ship that stuff home so they can make money on you shipping that shit home.
Yeah, basically.
Mhm.
And
Agree.
by the way, for the record, if you have a wish list on Otaku Mode and you're in Japan, use the Opera browser with the VPN because if you don't, you can't see your wish list. I
Wah,
mean,
wah, wah.
you can sign in, but you won't see it unless you put in a VPN. And I understand why they did that too. So that is just wow. Anywho, enough about that. Barry, tell us about this mocktail bar, and I'm really curious about it too myself.
Yeah, it actually looks pretty interesting. We don't see too many things about mocktails. And in general, I think alcoholic blends with anime in
Mm-hmm.
collaborations in Japan. Or if they do, it's more like they produce a sake, and that's kind of all you hear about it. So ufotable is a pretty well-known production company. Is opening a mocktail bar featuring Demon Slayer in Tokyo's posh Ginza district. For anyone who doesn't know, Ginza is kind of a gentrified, up-and-coming neighborhood of Japan, or kind of just like the artsy neighborhood. So if you think about it, it's where your hipsters and your coffee bars and your art galleries are. I went to
So,
Ginza when I was back in Japan in 2019, and it was super chill. That's where I actually went and saw Junjo Ito's art collection that he did, which was like his first in-person collection he'd done in decades at that point.
so basically,
Um,
what you're saying is Ginza is Japan's answer to Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I would compare it to that. Where you're going to have your trendy, your up and coming. A lot of the kids that left Harajuku because of the tourism overriding tend to
Mm.
dress up and go into Ginza. They don't tend to like hang out there, but they tend to just go around there because it's trendy. Um, yeah, you tend to have like a McDonald's across from like a French style cafe. Like that's the air, the energy it gives. So the anime company ufotable announced on Friday that it will open up the ufotable mocktail bar in Ginza this spring with a pre-opening in mid-April. A video teased Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba Hashira as staff at the mocktail bar. So it sounds like it's also going to be a cosplay cafe.
Mm.
This spring, following UFO Table Cafe, UFO Table Dining, and Machi Asobi Cafe, a new brand produced by UFO Table. UFO Table Mocktail Bar Ginza will be launched. We look forward to welcoming you all in Ginza. Please stay tuned for further updates. As the name implies, the UFO Mocktail Bar in Ginza will mainly serve mocktails. For anybody who doesn't know what mocktails are in chat, they are basically the virgin version of your favorite alcoholic drinks. So think
Mm.
about virgin pina colada, strawberry daiquiri, and those kind of things. However, in Japan, they usually do them in a themed way. So think of something with like jelly in the bottom or different
Ah.
colors or even some sorbet, or they might have options. The bar's webpage features new art of each Hashira from Demon Slayer as a waiter. The UFO Table Mocktail Bar Ginza is the latest dining experience by the animation production company. The company currently operates UFO Table cafes and Machi Asobi cafes in Tokyo, Nagoya, Osaka, Tokushima, and Fukuoka, and the restaurant UFO Table Dining in Tokyo. You can check their website or their Twitter account for more information.
All right, Barry. Which Hashira would you cosplay?
I feel like that's a given. I feel like, guess.
Shinobu.
Shinobu is probably, yeah, I would say Shinobu is my first choice. Because I just like all the purple. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be against like the love Shinobu, the love.
Well,
Hashira, though.
here's the
Like
thing.
I'd say,
I,
yeah.
I thought about that. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
Barry could do Mitsuri, but
Yeah, Mitsuri. Mm-hmm.
I realized with you, 15 minutes into that cheery attitude, you'd be done.
No, I think I'd be okay.
Yeah?
I'm more. I tend to be like I can be bubbly. I just have to have caffeine.
Okay, cause I'm just saying, from your personality alone, your snark puts you right along the lines of Shinobu.
Yeah, I've always kind of gone towards Shinobu because I love the style of her sleeves
Mm-hmm.
and the way that her hair is styled, and obviously her hair is purple, so it just makes it an inclination for me to do her a little bit more justice, I suppose.
Fair enough. Okay, now that we got that out the way, we're going to get into our last story of the night, which is something of a favorite of mine. For those of you who do not know, one of my favorite J-pop or J-rock bands. Now, when I say J-rock, I'm not talking Deering Gray, Malice Miser, the Visual K, because a lot of people think Visual K when you say J-rock. When I say J-rock, I'm talking along the lines of like alternative rock, modern rock, like American modern rock. They're in that style. And the band is called Band-Maid. I've been a fan for I think like 10 plus years. I've seen them in concert twice. Mako-chan saw them in concert and loved it. And we listen to their music whenever we can. I mean, and you can't beat the fact that Miku, who's the one that's always wearing the maid outfit, is there front and center just shredding on a guitar. I mean, tell me that's not awesome. Now, in the past, we've talked about how they've been collabing with various events and projects. So now, it seems that they're collabing for an opening for an anime. I think this is their second or something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head because I know we mentioned something like this previously. And the anime is called Rock is a Lady's Modesty. And I think this is an anime Mako-chan's gonna like.
Yeah, I was looking at that. It looks kind of cool.
Yeah, I saw the preview for a while back. I'm just like, there are so many women on my Facebook who are anime fans that are going to love this. And the opening theme is called Ready to Rock. The digital single is available now, and you can go on the official YouTube channel to check out the music video, which is something I'm going to do either right after tonight's show or tomorrow morning while I'm at work enjoying my first cup of coffee. The song is now featured, which, as I said, is the opening theme for the anime Rock is a Lady's Modesty. Excuse me. In the music video, the members clash violently in a school as if linked to the world of the anime, and towards the end of the video, they collaborate with the dancers for the first time in Band-Maid's history. The TV anime adaptation of Hiroshi Fukuda's Rock is a Lady's Modesty manga series premiered in Japan on April 3rd and is available on HIDIVE. Shinya Watada, who directed Idolmaster Million Live, will be directing this anime at Studio BN Pictures. Series composition is done by Shogo Yasukawa, who worked on Studio Apartment, Good Lighting, Angel Included, and the character designs are done by Risa Miyadani, who worked on Icot's Planet. The story follows Lalisa Suzunomiya, a young girl who's forced to give up playing guitar when she's thrust into a rich lifestyle after her mother remarries a real estate tycoon. However, when she meets a skilled drummer at her new prestigious school, her passion for rock reignites and the pair form a band. That actually sounds pretty good. And I didn't think I'd be dealing with another Suzumiya, something along those lines. Quite an interesting last name, don't you think? Anywho, well, enough about that. We've got all the article stories out. So now we're going to get into the part of the show that y'all enjoy more than anything else. Meanwhile, in Japan. And since there's only 3 of us, we will be only talking 3 stories, and the 4th one will be edited out for the description. So let's take a look here.
I want to take the 3rd one, I think it is. Yeah.
I would assume you would have taken the last one.
I like the 3rd one. I know that the 4th one gave me a run for my money, but I like the 3rd one better.
What about you, Mako?
I don't mind any of them. So whatever one you don't want, I will choose one from that list.
I will take the first one.
Okay, then I'm going to take the last one.
There's a joke in there. I just know it. So anyway, we're going to get into our first story tonight. And a Kanagawa man has been arrested for pouring instant noodles into a train ticket machine. What? What's really cool is the ticket gates at Japanese train stations. It's just how you can toss a ticket in it at any angle and it comes out perfectly scanned and straightened in a second flat. That's cool technology. But the machines to buy the tickets are a little bit less elegant in design. Trying to decode the map while selecting the right ticket and the number of people can be quite stressful. It might be enough to make some people snap, though we can't be sure what's happened in the case of a man who was arrested on the destruction of a train ticket machine on March 26. On December 12th of last year, police in Matsuda, Kanagawa received a call from the staff of the Shin Matsuda station saying that their ticket machine has been vandalized. They looked at the security footage and found that around 11:05 p.m. the day before, a man appeared to pour his instant ramen into the coin slot into the now non-working machine. That is crazy. A further investigation found that witnesses saw the man hanging around the station eating noodles at the time of the incident. It took some time, but the police were finally able to arrest him for the destruction of property valued at 1.5 million yen, which is equivalent to $10,000 US. Damn, talk about that yen to dollar ratio.
Mm-hmm.
I need to cash in on that. Upon his arrest, the suspect gave the very difficult to pull off partial denial, saying, "It's not that I didn't do it at all, but it's just that I can't remember the specifics." So I think I did it. I just don't remember how I did it. While the police try to get him to commit to a plea, readers of the news online hearing about this had this to say. That happens at pachinko parlors a lot too. I'm going to assume that he was drunk at the time. I heard people do this at arcades too. They pour drinks into the game's coin slots for some reason. At least people don't use those machines as much anymore. It's true that the IC cards have been in place for a while now, and some railways are converting to QR code scanners as a cheaper method than soup can just be wiped off. Still, those clunky yet dignified machines have served Japan well during many busy commutes, and it's sad to see them treated this way. Besides, there are lots of fun and delicious things to do with leftover instant ramen that don't involve destruction of property. I never would have guessed. Instant ramen. No.
This is why we can't have nice things.
I actually sent out a video. I mean, I shared something to a friend on my personal Facebook about that. Evidently, there are people in Japan doing Showtime. And for those of you who don't know what Showtime is, let me give you a quick, a brief explanation. Showtime is when a bunch of amateur dancers come onto the subway train and start shouting, "Guess what time it is? It's showtime," and they start dancing. And they dance so that you can pay them. That's basically what it is. Evidently, this has been happening at other train stations across the country I've seen videos of. Now, there are people doing this in Japan, not just on the trains, but in local places as well, but on the train. Please don't do that. Stop that. You make us look bad. If I see you doing that while I'm there, oh, you're going to catch it from me. And that's the way I'm looking at it. And as Bob Coffee asks, if I'm going to Castle Point this month. And I know why he's asking. One of the members of Love Live is going to be there. Unfortunately, I will not be at Castle Point that weekend. We will be at the Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon Super Live instead. And again, a couple of people have said to me that, "Oh, you could do both." And I'm like, that's not possible. There's no way I can do both. So, it'll be another time for that. Anywho, who's up next? Oh, no, we'll scream at once.
Barry, I think.
Barry, party. Barry, did we lose you?
No,
Okay.
I'm still here.
All right. That's one hell of a lag or a delay then, huh?
I don't know what's going on. All right.
I blame the internet, which is a series of tubes.
I think Skype is acting up for me. At least I don't know if it's due to anything that's going on. For anybody who doesn't know, Skype is getting rid of itself.
Yeah, and I gotta flip, and I gotta figure out how to run the NDI inputs on Teams. I think I have to unlock that. I have to unlock that on one of my accounts or something like that. So, anywho,
Okay.
please continue.
All right. Anyway, moving on from senior citizens arrested. Gotcha toilets are aiming to offer Japanese mountain climbers relief and trinkets.
Ooh.
Oh my god. They made a horrible pun in the beginning of the story. I
Womp
gotcha
womp.
toilet right ear, pal. All right. I hate it here. Japan is certainly a mountainous country and a climber's paradise. At least that is until nature calls its way out in nature. Sure, you could do as bears and the Pope do, according to some rhetorical questions I've heard. But if everyone did that on a more popular mountain, it could quickly turn a pristine hiking course into an incredibly crappy one, in every sense of the word. Another
Mm.
solution would be to set up public toilets, or at the very least, porta potties. But those cost money to set up and maintain. And who's going to pay for that? The mountains? They just sit around all day doing nothing except blowing up sometimes. However, a company named Spring in Yamanashi Prefecture thinks that they have a solution. Or a very Japanese solution at that. Gacha machines. Let's face it, everyone hates pay toilets on the principle because nobody likes flushing money down the drain.
Mm.
Capsule machines, on the other hand, defy you not to put monies in them, even if they're full of the most useless stuff you can find, like photos of complete strangers or miniature red light district signboards. The gotcha toilet works on a very simple logic by setting up both a capsule machine and a porta potty at key locations in Japanese mountains. By using the machine, you support the maintenance of the toilet, get a little something in return, and get to relieve yourself with a clear conscience. The first gotcha toilet has been set up in the Iwadono-san Park municipal parking lot near Iwadono-san, a mountain in Otsuki, Yamanashi Prefecture, famed for having one of the 12 most beautiful views of Mount Fuji. As such, it's popular with climbers, but had no public restrooms to speak of until now. It works on the honor system, in that you don't really need to buy something from the gotcha machine in order to enter the porta potty. However, those that do will be rewarded with either a button featuring one of the 12 beautiful mountain views of Mount Fuji, or an omamori lucky charm with one of 4 Otsuki sightseeing spots on them. Both of these items are acrylic because they've been upcycled from all those acrylic partitions every restaurant and food court had installed during the COVID-19 pandemic. If successful, we can expect to see gotcha toilets in other remote locations across Japan, combining the thrill of getting a random item with the thrill of using a public toilet. I guess you can also enjoy the mountain too if you're into that sort of thing.
Well, I certainly am.
Yeah, I think it sounds like a really great mission, and I like the idea that they're using up hardware that was during a certain period of time. So that made it definitely, I think, worth it.
Mm-hmm. And now, bringing up the rear, Mako-chan, what you got for us?
Yeah. So a pyramid of salt a day keeps the pyramid head away.
Of course.
uh,
Oh my god.
so when you are walking around while visiting Japan, you can keep an eye on the entrances to shops while walking along the street. You may be able to see a small little dish with a cone-shaped pile of salt sitting by the door. These are called Mauricio, which is literally pile of salt, and they're used to ward off evil spirits because nothing is worse for business than evil spirits. Salt has been considered a purifying substance throughout Japanese history. Sumo wrestlers famously throw salt into the ring before matches, and if you go to a funeral in Japan, you will probably be given some salt, which you are meant to sprinkle on yourself before entering your home to repel the death vibes you picked up during the ceremony. Mauricio are just one more way to use the seasoning to make sure all the right energy is flowing, and although they're mainly used by businesses, anyone is welcome to make one and place it in the proper location according to feng shui, and now that includes gamers. So the Mauricio makers at Suzuko Moko have teamed up with game makers Dive for Kyokai to create Kyofu Kokufuku Mauricio, which is fear overcoming pile of salt, and it's 1,650 yen, which is about $11. As the name suggests, it's designed for those who struggle to get through horror games by purifying those chills of terror you might get when playing them. In the spirit, in the long-running Japanese gag, that anything made for gamers must use loud colors.
Hmm.
The salt is also a vibrant yet calming blue hue, and also comes with a dish and mold so you can shape your pile of salt beautifully while keeping your hands and controllers free of it. It has had mixed reviews online, so it'll probably attract the ghosts of deceased gamers.
You.
If you don't replace it regularly, it will have the opposite effect. Silent Hill F is coming out soon. I might get it for that. Finally, I can play Silent Hill. It looks like a bathroom air freshener. Yeah, so yeah, fun times. I guess anything can be made into gaming crap. So
Where's the game genie when you really need it?
well, I don't know, but I think the salt might keep that away too.
Probably. But I think we're done. I absolutely think that we are done after that story.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would agree.
So, if you like tonight's show, tell a friend. They in turn will tell another friend, and so on and so forth. We're independent bloggers, independent podcasters. So what we like and don't like, we're telling you straight up. If you have any questions about the show, please drop us a line at podcast@animejamsession.com. Again, that is podcast@animejamsession.com. We're here to believe you. Don't forget to follow our podcast online. You can always find it on anywhere podcasts are available, such as Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And what's cool is these apps have the ability for you to leave little quippets and notes and reviews and stuff of our show. So if you leave us a review, let us know. We would love to read it, you know? Every little bit goes a long way. Don't forget to check out our website at animejamsession.com, where you'll find not just our weekly podcasts, you will find anime reviews, editorials, cosplay interviews, cosplay tips and tricks, links to our YouTube and Facebook pages of cosplay and convention coverage. All that and a lot more at animejamsession.com. And while you're at it, please follow us on the socials. It's Anime Jam Session on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Blue Sky. And for everybody who's followed us on those, thank you so much for doing so. We really appreciate your love and support. We really couldn't do this without y'all. And if you're still here, which we really appreciate, throw some beans at our tip jar or throw some cash at our tip jar. There are direct links to our Stream Element, Streamlab, and Ko-Fi if you want to throw us a few dollars, which we would greatly appreciate. You can cheer us on with bits in the chat while we're live. That's something we're also really appreciative of. And also, subbing to the channel, giving out a gift sub to the channel. All that's cool, and we really appreciate that. So now we'll go around the room. Last words, Mako-chan.
I am looking forward to going to sleep.
Last words, Barry.
Well, on the other side of that coin, I am just getting started. So I will see you guys in Dreamtime.
And my last words is, don't you just hate when you get that piece of fruit stuck in your tooth and it just sits there and it throbs for about a couple of weeks and then it just falls right out like nothing ever happened?
You have to floss, Ranma. What do you do? What?
I do. Sometimes I just can't get that back piece.
That's why I have the little picks that I can hold and shove back there.
That's what I'm talking about. It's so far. I have to see a dentist anyway. So that is it. End of list. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. I'll be here. Mako will be here. Ari should be here. And maybe Barry will be here if we act nicely. We'll see how that goes.
We'll see.
Yeah. See? That is it. End of list. Time to punch out. We're getting out of here. So, I'm Ranma.
I'm Mako-chan.
And I'm Barry Mellon.
Great fight, great night. See you next week.
Good night.
Jamatane.
Say goodnight, Mako-chan.
Good night, Mako-chan.
Perfect. Awesome. We're out of here. See you all next week.
This podcast has been a production of Anime Jam Session and AJS Productions. No fanboys and fangirls were hurt, maimed, shot, electrocuted, or pistol whipped in this episode. For now. The views, opinions, and thoughts expressed on this show do not reflect the staff or the network as a whole. But we're still right, damn it. For transcripts of this episode, start typing. Check us out at animejamsession.com and vognetwork.com for more information about us and other programming. Jamatane!